Hello everyone, I am the Reiki energy practitioner xuanyitianxin. Many people on the internet are now saying that the Earth's Reiki energy is reviving, saying that the Reiki energy was exhausted before and it was not suitable for cultivating immortals. Now is a good time to cultivate immortals. In fact, the Earth's Reiki energy has never been exhausted, but it was closed after Zhuangzi's conferred God list. Now is indeed a great time for cultivating immortality, because there is an unprecedented opportunity to contact spiritual energy. However, the real cultivation of immortality is different from what people imagine. It cannot be achieved by self-study, through reading books and classics, nor can it be achieved by meditating and chanting scriptures in a sect. Since ancient times, countless people have sought immortality and developed various sects and schools, but they can only imitate the form and cannot grasp the key core. For example, the common cultivation technique, external alchemy, attempts to use the powerful spiritual energy contained in natural treasures to refine them into edible pills for humans to replenish their own energy. However, natural treasures require the right time, and their essence is still spiritual energy. It is completely impractical to copy the external alchemy method. Those emperors who died from taking elixir S were also victims. They only got the surface but not the essence. Cultivation of immortality has never been a technique that can be copied and widely disseminated or developed behind closed doors. The real cultivation of immortality relies on chance enlightenment to obtain spiritual energy. Next, let's talk about how ordinary people in this era can cultivate immortality. There are two major elements in cultivating immortality: opportunity and energy. Let's start with opportunity. In ancient times, when spiritual energy was abundant and gods and humans coexisted, opportunities were common to all. Since the Qing and Han dynasties, opportunities have become rare or even reserved for those within our own ranks. For example, a deity would be sent down to earth to complete a mission, and then other deities would be sent to guide and enlighten them. The legends of immortals records the story of a female immortal named Sai Zi Ran in the Tang dynasty who ascended to heaven in broad daylight. Historical records show that she ascended to heaven in the West Mountain with thousands of people watching. In fact, she originally came from heaven. In order to guide her to ascend, she was given a mountain. This mountain was not an ordinary mountain, but a mountain with spiritual energy. She could practice on this mountain and continuously improve her energy until she broke through the dimension and ascended to become an immortal. This is why many immortals recorded in historical records ascended from mountains. This opportunity was very rare after the Qing and Han dynasties, which is why it is increasingly rare to find successful practitioners in modern times. And there are no such people in modern times. But this time, due to some reasons, the time has been restarted, giving many people the opportunity to contact spiritual energy. This is also an opportunity for ordinary people to cultivate immortality, but they need to find a master to guide them. In fact, the connection between the sex and heaven has been broken for a long time. For example, Zhang Daoling, the founder of Taoism, no longer cared about the affairs of the world after he ascended to heaven, and it was even more impossible for him to take his disciples up there. He didn't even know them, let alone other people. The threshold to becoming an immortal is very high. After all, this is what the ancient emperors dreamed of. Some great demons who have practiced for thousands of years, even if they have great magical powers and profound cultivation, will only end up dead if they forcibly ascend without the permission of the heaven. Let's talk about energy. If we compare the human body to a machine, the muscles, skin, bones, and internal organs we can see are just the surface, of the machine, while the meridian S are the circuit diagram of the machine, the inside of the machine together. The outside and the inside constitute the shell of the body. The true I is the primordial spirit, soul within. The soul is essentially an energy body. Everything has a soul, the only difference being its size. The human body needs an electric charge to function. This electricity is energy in physics and qi in metaphysics. Therefore, pure energy from heaven and earth can also be called spiritual energy. The average person obtains energy through food. Food generates bioelectricity. Living things need electricity to function. Therefore, we need 3 meals a day to replenish our body's energy. The magnetic field pervading the universe is like a vast net, allowing all souls to reside within it. We ourselves are energy bodies, and we are surrounded by an environment filled with electromagnetic fields. Large energies can influence and drive smaller energies. If the energy is large enough, it can be released to control objects in the surrounding magnetic field, even achieving the ancient myths of flying, moving mountains and filling the sea, flying through the sky and hiding in the ground, and retrieving objects from the air. Living beings have limited energy, and it is consumed in daily life. Consumption requires replenishment, just like a cell phone. When it runs out of power, it needs to be recharged. Otherwise, it simply shuts down. To keep it running, it needs to constantly draw in energy, just like a person needs to eat when hungry. The spirit world also needs constant cultivation to replenish and strengthen its energy. However, different energy sources lead to vastly different results. As mentioned earlier, the reason immortals and great demons can fly and dart through the sky and possess powerful magic is because they possess immense amounts of energy. However, immortals possess immense amounts of pure positive energy, while demons possess immense amounts of negative energy. However, ordinary people, limited by our human bodies, possess limited energy, let alone immortals. Even compared to mountains, which contain pure celestial energy, our energy levels are not even on the same scale. If the energy of an immortal is compared to a star, the energy of an ordinary person is like that of a light bulb, insignificant. Therefore, cultivating immortality requires external forces. A mayfly cannot shake a tree. Humans are infinitely insignificant compared to nature. Those who have experienced this year's natural disasters will understand this deeply. Also, it is imperative to stay away from those who believe in supernatural powers. Since we are human beings, we have certain limitations and cannot and do not possess magical powers. So-called magical powers and spells are bestowed by unnatural negative energies and are considered sorcery, magic, and ghost arts. A long-term exposure to these negative energies can have a significant impact on physical and mental health. Personal fortune positive energy is the energy of heaven and earth, from wind, rain, thunder, lightning, the sun, moon, stars, mountains, rivers, lakes, and seas. However, the human body cannot directly receive it, just as only plants can perform photosynthesis. This pure energy, accumulated over billions of years and stored in the mountains, rivers, and veins of the earth, is known as spiritual energy. It is the essence of the energy of heaven and earth, and the energy truly needed for spiritual practice. Negative energy is the energy of demons and monsters, or some turbid, evil spirits. Low-level demons have weaker energy. Demons have long years of cultivation and possess stronger energy. They generally replenish and strengthen themselves by absorbing the human body's yang energy. A terrifying truth is that currently the fields of metaphysics and religion are connected only to yin forces. This is why many practitioners of metaphysics experience mental or physical problems. They may not even understand the underlying energy. But remember, positive energy will improve one's health, both physically and in other aspects. Cultivation is inherently a process of continuously increasing energy. However, relying solely on food for energy is a drop in the bucket. We live in a state of energy depletion. Work, life, socializing, thinking, and all sorts of emotions and desires all deplete our energy. The meager amount of qi we gain from food is not even enough to replenish our energy. For most people, their energy consumption outweighs their intake. This is why more and more young people are prone to lying low, exhausted and lacking energy. The ultimate state achieved through spiritual practice is a state of high energy. This naturally relies on pure high-energy Reiki. So how do you obtain Reiki? As mentioned earlier, Reiki is the accumulation of various pure energies from heaven and earth within the mountains, rivers, and land veins. The energy concentration point is often called a feng shui treasure land. The previous video discussed the relationship between spiritual practice and feng shui. Spiritual practice is inseparable from feng shui. However, this isn't the kind of feng shui you'd find with a compass. It's the true feng shui of mountains and rivers. I won't elaborate here. The real thing must be passed down orally and through heart. This powerful, pure energy is coveted by everyone, even demons. However, it's not a public resource, readily available, or easily accessible. It's not simply about standing on a feng shui treasure land. Furthermore, the earth is hidden from human knowledge. A true high energy fields are rarely known. Furthermore, spirits and demons guard and strictly control the Reiki. Without guidance from a master, it can't be connected to its true master, and thus, it's impossible to obtain it. The consequences of forcibly taking it. Master Killing Land are discussed. As for how to obtain it, please contact me.